Now, 3+ years, hugely impacted the Ukrainians who suffered hugely, but it's also impacted Europe, it's impacted every single family and community in the United Kingdom, and so everybody wants it to end, not least the Ukrainians, but we've got to get this right. We've got to make sure there is peace, that it is lasting peace, and that it is fair and that it is just, and that's why I'm travelling to Washington with other European leaders to discuss this face to face with President Trump and President Zelensky, because it's in everyone's interests, it's in the UK's interests that we get this right.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is in Washington today, backed by an impressive group of European political heavy hitters for a meeting that could direct the future of peace talks to end the war in Ukraine. Now, make no mistake, this is going to be a tough meeting. That's likely why Zelensky has called on his closest allies to support him. He comes with multiple objectives that together seek to steer the course of talks away from conditions that benefit Russian leader Vladimir Putin to those that are more acceptable for Ukraine. Zelensky will be looking for clarity over security guarantees that America and Europe are able to offer him. On the table are NATO-like guarantees for the moment, but the details are vague, especially the role that the US is willing to play to sustain them. Zelensky will have to employ diplomatic tact to avoid pressure into accepting Putin's maximalist demand for the Donbass, a demand that he simply cannot accept because it runs counter to his country's laws, but also because he believes that it will only serve as a springboard for a future Russian invasion. Instead, he's likely to push for a trilateral meeting. Ukrainian officials believe that if Putin is confronted directly with sensitive territorial matters, that Zelensky will be able to extract a more acceptable agreement from him. Of course, Ukrainian officials are fearful that Trump will simply blame Zelensky for hampering the peace process, and in this case, it will be up to Zelensky to call Putin's bluff. That is, to convince Trump that the Russian leader is not as powerful as he claims to be, and that despite Ukraine's very clear battlefield disadvantages, that this is not a war that is easily won for the Russian leader.
The substantive American position on what's needed to end the war has changed completely. There's been complete inconsistency of that. What guarantee, what reassurance does anyone have, Ukraine or Europe, that a security guarantee, even if it were offered, would actually be honored if it came to it, rather than Trump once again finding a reason not to stand up to Putin?
Mr. Putin, will you agree to a ceasefire? Mr. Putin, will you commit to not killing any more civilians?
There's clearly, a lot of further detail to the discussions today that we're not aware of, but this all seems profoundly alarming if you're Ukrainian or European. Of course, I count the Ukrainians as Europeans. So now we have the phenomenon of the European leaders en masse flying to Washington, D.C., all the most important ones, some breaking their holidays at short notice to do so, shows how high the stakes are for them, in order to try to present visible personal support for Ukraine and try to persuade Trump not to go through with apparently trying to impose what looks more than anything like a Russian view of how to end the war.
Thank you.
Ja, gerne.
So yes, I hope that Zelensky will have learned from the disastrous meeting at the end of February, and also from any advice that Europeans have given him. So I think, yes, he should wear a suit. I think that he should speak in Ukrainian with an interpreter. I think one of the reasons why, not the most important reason, but I think it was a contributing factor why that things went so badly at the end of February, was that his English is good, but it's not fluent. And he can express himself more precisely and diplomatically in his Ukrainian, his native Ukrainian.
President Trump, what's your message to Vladimir Putin, sir? President Trump, do you have a message for Vladimir Putin as you meet with President Zelensky today?
Why don't you wear a suit? Why don't you wear a suit? You're at the highest level in this country's office and you refuse to wear a suit. Just want to see if do you own a suit?
Yeah, problems.
A lot of Americans have problems with you not respecting the dignity of this office.
I will wear a costume after this war will finish.
Okay.
Yes, maybe one.
Maybe something
like yours. Yes.
That'd be great.
Maybe something better. I don't know. Yeah. We will see. It's 2%. This document, maybe other documents. It's a very good start, very good, but